Hey, social media family, it's your girl Danielle Spencer. For the video this week, I'm going to talk about, again, my toxic bosses and specifically one of the characteristics, which is micromanagement. Early this week, I did a post kind of explaining what micromanagement is and how you can address it to protect yourself. But again, I'll go back to kind of what I've said previously a couple of times, um, which is you cannot change people. People are going to be who they are. If they want to change, they're going to change. So one of the things that it's important to um, keep in mind is that toxic bosses are going to be what they are, and that's going to be toxic. So what all you can do while you're in that situation is protect yourself. And one of the things that what micromanagers will do, or toxic bosses who have micromanagement tendencies, they will also tend to undermine you. And they'll use micromanagement as a way to do it. So one of the examples I gave is that they'll be lurking around the office. And if you're still blessed to be able to have like telework, they'll oftentimes call these unnecessary meetings, and they'll always want to make sure that you have your camera on so they can see you. Or they'll use like instant messaging type of applications so that they'll sending you messages all the time, and they'll clock how long it takes for you to respond back to them, looking to see when your light is on green or if it's on yellow, and clocking if it's on yellow, how long it's on yellow. So those are some kind of characteristics that people should keep in mind when you're dealing with a toxic boss and their micromanagement uh, tendencies. I'll give one example that to me is kind of funny, where this individual, he wasn't even my boss. He was just a coworker. We worked in the same government agency. And he liked me in the fact that he knew what I was doing, and he would often come and get advice from me on how to do certain things. But again, because, and in my opinion, this person was a toxic manager or just a toxic person, period. Um, One of the things that I believe is that they're underlying incompetent, and that competent people frighten them. And so one of the things that they do is they try to undermine you. And so even though he would come to me to get advice on how to do certain things, especially as it related to um, project management, system development, and governance, he was oftentimes in meetings undermining me. And a lot of times, like talking bad about me, always uh, stating in these meetings with other managers and executives how he felt that I was too social, and I conversated too much, or he saw me too much walking around, things that had nothing to do with the job. And what I found out later is that because I worked with a lot of these managers, they would oftentimes shut him down and like, no, we've worked with her and she does her work and more. And so there was no problem. But there was this man, and I'm going to bring up his gender and race specifically to kind of drive home a point. He's a white man. And he would be in these meetings and he would see this stuff happening. And there were other men and women in these meetings, and there were black men, Asian, there were other ethnicities in these meetings. But this one white man took it upon himself. And I mean, I knew him in passing, would speak, but he took it upon himself to kind of pull me aside and let me know what was happening, because I did not know. But he let me know that this man was undermining me. And he also, let me know because he knew that this guy would be coming to me to get advice on how to address some of the problems and that with which he was dealing. But then, even after getting that advice, he would then turn around and undermine me. And so, why do I bring up about the race and thing and gender? Because, one of the things that I say all the time is that people are people. Before you give them any other type of title, whether it be mother, father, sister, brother, white, black, Christian, Muslim, any other title, before you give them any other title, they're always human. And as human beings, especially as adult human beings, we make conscious choices of whether we're going to do the right thing or the wrong thing all the time. And before any of those titles, we are always, I want to say our instinct is always to look out for our own best interest. And some of us, we won't cross certain lines because we have certain moral character, we have some certain ethics by which we live that we're not going to do the wrong thing to try to destroy someone else just for our best interest. But not everybody, and as a matter of fact, there's quite a few people who don't have that same inner compass. And that was one of the instances where this man didn't. And the guy was a white man who was doing this to me, but it was another white man who let me know what was going on. And it helped me, and I'll say this is really early in my career. I think I was in my early 30s when this happened. Um, I had to learn how to deal with that type of situation. And again, this person was not my supervisor. It was just he was just another coworker at an agency where I work, where both of us work. And so I had to learn early in the career how to deal with toxic people. Um, and as a Christian, to keep my heart rate, whereas every time I saw him, I didn't want to call him out of his name. And that I will say that was like the hardest part for me personally. But it was a learning experience. So that's why I say, I'm not an attorney, I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just talking about things that I have personally lived through and what I have seen. And that was one of the experiences where it just the person himself, he was just a toxic person. And even though it was not in my reporting chain, their toxicity was trying to under my career. And again, that micromanagement tendencies, it was like he was clocking what I did, who I went to speak to when I wasn't at my desk. And unfortunately for him, a lot of times when I was going to speak or when I wasn't at my desk, was that I was going and I was speaking with the same exact people with whom he was trying to undermine me about work that concerned them. That's why those efforts failed. And so again, like this week, I just wanted to kind of close it out with the video about micromanagement, kind of what it is and kind of give an example of how it impacted me. And again, let people know you can't change people. All you can do is put in certain behaviors to protect yourself. And don't, just because someone, you might share a title such as being of African American descent, being of Caucasian descent, being a woman or being a man or whatever, just because you might have those characteristics in common, it doesn't mean that they are going to be looking out for your best interest, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to be. It's again, look through the lens of people are people, and you need to give everybody an opportunity to show you the type of character that they have. So that's the video for this week. I'll see you guys next week. We'll talk about a completely different characteristic of toxic bosses and toxic leadership.